Hey, Phil. Thanks for taking the time to do this call with me and answer some questions about how to build a successful gaming channel.
Yeah, sure. Always glad to share my experiences.
I mean, this is really a big opportunity because, like recently I made a video about a gaming channel and it was interesting, studying the channel, but this is so much more direct and personable. I can ask you, what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And for my viewers, their main goal is to get more subscribers and more views to their channel as quickly as they can. So if you were a new gamer, you just started your channel, what would you tell them to do in order to really get things going?
So that's a very interesting question. And of course, if you just look at a gaming channel on YouTube, just look at their numbers, how many views they get and stuff, you don't actually see their analytics. So it's very hard to tell how they're doing it and what really drives the views. But hopefully I can help you out there. So first of all, if you want more subscribers to your channel, obviously subscribers are a big thing. I get this, the milestones and, oh my God, I need 1,000 subscribers to finally get monetized and stuff. But ultimately, your subscribers are not what determines your success. If you just focus on getting more views, then everything else will follow. Because 1,000 subscribers and all the watch time won't help you. Because if you don't have enough views, then you won't be making much money to begin with. And if you just also, this completely debunks the concept of sub for sub and stuff like this. It doesn't work. It will do more harm than good, 100%. So don't focus on subscribers, focus on views. And the thing, obviously, is you might be saying, oh my lord, how can I get views? Gaming is so oversaturated. How can I even compete with all the other gaming channels out there? And the problem with this mindset is, well, first of all, gaming is not saturated because gaming in and of itself is not a niche. Saying gaming would be oversaturated is the same as saying outdoor channels would be oversaturated. I don't know, just coming up with an example here. But for example, if you look at a gardening channel and a hiking channel or a fishing channel, those are three completely different niches. And I mean, if you say, okay, outdoors is oversaturated, then no, you just need to pick one aspect. You just need to go all in on fishing or all in on gardening. And the same is true for gaming. If you say, I'm a gaming channel, but how can I grow? Everything is so, so highly populated with good content. Well, if you play Minecraft one day and Fortnite the other day, then of course the people will be confused. It's like if you're gardening one day and fishing the other day, it just doesn't work. So you need to pick a niche and a very specific one. So just niche down on one game. So people actually have a reason to come back to your channel. They know what to expect from you and they get value consistently. But from my experience, it's not even enough to just niche down on one game. It's even better, especially when you're small, when you don't have much growth yet, when you have 0 subscribers, 0 views. It's even better to niche down even more. Find a sub niche and a sub niche. For example, I am obviously in the gaming branch, but my niche is League of Legends, but not only League of Legends. I focus on educational League of Legends content and also on only one, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the game, but only one role in the game. So I only focus on that one single niche, and people who are searching for those terms related to that niche will find me because there's so much content around that one topic. And it's not enough to just focus on one niche. You also need to provide value to your intended target audience. You need to picture exactly in your mind, okay, who's really my optimal viewer? What are their worries? What are the problems they need to have solved? What are the things they're interested in? What are they doing in their free time? What are they spending their money on? How old are they? It's all that stuff. The more specific you can narrow down to your ideal viewer, the better and the easier it is to create videos for them specifically, because they will find your channel and they will think, how couldn't I find this earlier? This is perfect for me. I really need this content in my life. So again, focus on the views, which you get by providing value, and the subs will follow. Especially when you're small, it's easy to say, how are they finding my channel to begin with? Well, the easiest thing is to just create content for YouTube search. Try to include search terms in your titles that are relevant and that people are actively looking for. Because by doing this, you don't need to promote your content to them, but YouTube does this for you. YouTube is a search engine after all, and if you can just make it work for you rather than against you, then it's easy. For example, a title like, I had the greatest game ever, and just uploading a video, nobody knows what it's even about. Which game is it? So if you create titles that have keywords in the beginning and also enticing elements that spark the curiosity of the potential viewer, then that's perfect. For example, new League of Legends strategy that helps you win the jungle matchup. For example, I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense to you, even if you don't play League of Legends, but just keywords. So, however, let's just assume you already have your title and stuff. How do you need to actually make your video? The thing is, you will get views more easily if the viewer actually enjoys your content and decides to watch more of it. And how do you do this? You need to maximize your videos for viewer satisfaction. So not only do you need to make them click on your video, which is your click-through rate, you need to have a good thumbnail and a good title that are enticing and winning the click, but you also need to focus on your audience retention. This is the biggest metric ever. Audience retention is everything on YouTube, because if the viewer clicks off because, I don't know, you wasted 10 seconds of their life with a lengthy dubstep intro just showing your logo or whatever, it doesn't work. While we're at it, intros are more often than not doing more harm than good, because they don't provide value outright, and the viewer has more time to think, hey, what am I doing here? Why am I watching this? This is not entertaining. The best thing you can do if you want to use an intro, I've experimented with this quite a bit, and if you want to use an intro, it must be shorter than 3 seconds. 100%. 3 seconds is actually already quite high. Aim for 1 to 2 seconds. And on top of that, your intro should at least communicate your value proposition. So what I do, for example, I have a series playlist on my channel, League in 5 minutes, where I have League of Legends guides that are all shorter than 5 minutes. And the intro to these guides is just me saying, with a small animation on screen, but me saying everything you need to know in less than 5 minutes. And first of all, it is for branding purposes, because people who see this intro will know, it's a video from MissFortuneDaBes, and I know what to expect of this video. But also, a first-time viewer sees this intro and they immediately know what they can expect of this video and the value they're getting. And if you can do that with your intro, then that's perfect. If you can't, no worries, just don't use an intro altogether, because intros are the #1 audience retention killer. And obviously it's all very individual. You just need to study your audience retention graphs. The best thing for the beginning is to get straight into the value, straight into the meat and potatoes of the video, and don't let the viewer be waiting for what they came for. And once you have that down, once you get them through the first couple seconds, then you can really study your audience retention graphs and see where they noped out of your video, where they said, okay, this is too rambly, I'm not feeling this, I'm leaving, I find better content or whatnot. And then you just need to ruthlessly cut that out in the future. But yeah, focus on audience retention and focus on good titles and thumbnails, and then the views will come. And with views, there also come subscribers.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you, what do you think about making a hook for your intro? See, an intro could just be introducing what you're talking about, but what if you actually made a hook? Does that still work with what you're talking about with a good short intro?
So this is more a question in terms of terminology, because, when I said intro, I meant like a specific clip, a very short clip you use in the beginning of every single video, like your intro for branding. But if you mean intro in the sense of just the beginning of your video, by definition, then of course you need to find something enticing that you can put in the beginning. What I do in my mostly unedited gameplay videos, I start off the video by just saying what's going on in the video. For example, hey, this character got buffed last patch, and this is how I'm playing him this game. Let's go. And then I cut to my actual branding intro, which is also like 3 seconds. And then I directly jump into the gameplay, into the content. So yeah, having a hook, giving the viewer exact information on what to expect in the video, and then delivering on it, that's obviously what you want to be doing.
So one thing I've really been wanting to learn from you is how you make your thumbnails. You have excellent thumbnails, and I think my thumbnails are terrible. And so they're kind of like my Achilles heel when it comes to YouTube. I was wondering if you could share some insights and how you do that. And
yeah, definitely. Thumbnails are super important, and I also I also needed to walk a long way to get where I am today. I've uploaded more than 1,000 videos to my channel, like almost 1,200. And if you look at the first couple of thumbnails I made, they're absolutely terrible. They are like not designed at all. I just threw anything together and called it a day and didn't consider a single thing. However, you do not need to make this mistake. Creating thumbnails is actually quite easy if you know what to be looking for. So first of all, don't overload your thumbnails. The fewer elements you can put in your thumbnail, the better. Because you need to keep in mind, more than 50% of all YouTube traffic comes from mobile. So people will see a thumbnail that you design on your desktop screen, like on the whole screen. It looks big to you, but to the viewer, it will be very, very small. So if you put like 10 different elements on there, each element will be so small that it can't be recognized, especially not when you take into consideration that a viewer spends like 1 second evaluating whether to click or not to click on a thumbnail. So don't overload your thumbnails. Use as few elements as possible and make each element big as you can, so people even on mobile will see them. And I mean, on top of that, the next thing you ask is, okay, which elements do I use and where do I actually put them? And for this, I mean, it's just basic graphic design principles. I had no idea in the beginning, but over time, as I educated myself, I stumbled upon them, and then I dug deeper into them. So what you need to familiarize yourself with, for example, the rule of thirds. If you don't know what the rule of thirds is, look it up and use it in your thumbnails. It's super important. You want to make it as easy for the viewer's eye to actually digest your content. A thumbnail is content. Your thumbnail is like the most important thing, because when they don't click on your amazing video, then who cares, right? And so if you don't know what the rule of thirds is, look it up. If you don't know what white space is and how to utilize it, look it up. It's all on Google. It's very easy to find. I'm not a graphic designer. Probably a good Google search can tell you more than what I can tell you right now. But what I do with my thumbnails is I typically resort to 3 elements. I have text in the upper left corner, icons in the bottom left corner, obviously all related to what's going on in the video. And then on the right third, rule of thirds, on the right third, I have an image of the character I'm playing in my game. Obviously, when you're not in the gaming niche, you probably are because you're watching this video. But if you're not in the gaming niche, then you might put your face there or whatever. But it's very important to have a face there because the face transitions into the body, and the body is not important. And in the lower right corner of your thumbnail, you can't put anything of importance because there will be the timestamp in the preview when the thumbnail is on YouTube. So this is why I do it that way personally. I've experimented doing it the other way around, but it got so awkward with the timestamp. The elements I put there, it's just not worth it. So keep that in mind. The small timestamp's very important to work around this. So I have, again, by the way, I make all of my thumbnails with Canva. It's a free tool. It's, I think, canva.com. It's Canva. And again, it's free to use. So if you're just starting out, it's perfect because you don't need to actually pay for a service or anything. You can just get started with designing your thumbnails. And at first, it looks very limited, but if you actually use the tools the free version provides you properly, you can get so much out of it. Again, all of my thumbnails on my channel are made with Canva. So, I mean, they work. They will probably also work for you if you utilize this tool. And by the way, one important aspect I forgot, text in your thumbnail. I personally do use text in my thumbnails, but you don't have to. And if you don't need to, then that's obviously best case scenario because well, people don't really want to read that much and they already read your title and then they also need to read the text in your thumbnail. Okay, I'll give you a hard limit. If you use text in your thumbnail, first of all, obviously you need a very blocky font size or, well, big font size, blocky font, so it's easily readable, and no more than 20 characters. And 20 is really the hard upper limit. As few characters as possible, because that's obviously easier to digest. And the more characters you use, the more you are at risk of overloading the thumbnail and just making it impossible to, well, not impossible to read, but many people won't bother and won't click. But yeah, canva.com.
So like two to 3 words, or?
Yeah, two words, 2 short words is obviously very good. It's also what I aim for in most of my thumbnails. 2 short words, and then I'm good to go. But yeah, the more, the worse. Just try to limit it. Text and thumbnails is a very fickle friend.
Another thing that I really wanted to talk to you about is how do you decide on your video topics? Because when I look at tools like TubeBuddy or vidIQ or other keyword research tools, you know, it'll give you a great score for a topic, but then once you make the video, it doesn't always perform well, and you're wondering, well, was it a good topic? You know, how do you decide your video topics?
So first of all, you don't need any third-party software to come up with good video topics. It's really all out there on the internet. I personally don't use TubeBuddy or any similar service, and I mean, I'm living proof you don't need to. So what you can do is the first and the most important thing you need to be doing is look what your competitors are doing and what works for them, because they're already established in the niche and they wouldn't be where they are if they had, well, mediocre video topics. So obviously your topic is very important because that also leads to getting views or not. If you just cover boring topics, nobody will click, and then that's obviously not good for your channel. But I mean, topics your competitors are currently covering are also maybe trending even. I don't know, you would need to check that out. And one way you can do that is to just use Google Trends. It's trends.google.com, and there you can customize everything. You can only look for YouTube searches. You can look for worldwide searches in the last 7 days. Then you type in a topic. It's especially useful if you have multiple topics in mind. You type in one topic, then another topic, then another, and it shows you in terms of percentages. It's not raw numbers, but it's percentages on how big the search volume is in relation to each other regarding those topics. So Google Trends is your friend if you have multiple topics in mind and don't know where your time is spent best. And obviously, you can also use your analytics to find new video topics. What I did recently, for example, is I went to my most popular video, went to analytics, went to see more, and clicked on traffic source. And if you're there, click on search. It's clickable. It shows you search, browse, suggested, stuff like that. But if you click on search, then it shows you the search terms people actually typed into YouTube to stumble upon your video. Obviously, the top search terms are probably related to your title, so they don't help. But if you scroll a little bit farther down, there you will see other search terms that might be vaguely related to your title. And if you already have one successful video, you can use this technique to just find similar video topics that your viewers are also interested in and can create follow-up videos or spin-off videos, or maybe even videos that are barely related to the original video, but you know people looked for that search term, so you know it's a good idea. So this is definitely what you can do, but especially if you start out, don't try to reinvent the wheel and just look what's working for your competitors, figure out why it's working, and then take your spin on it. Just, I think Ludwig, like this big streamer, Ludwig said it once, yoink and twist. Yoink the video idea, twist it, and make it your own. Yoink and twist. Don't copy, yoink and twist. I really like this catchphrase. It's quite funny.
I love that. That is funny. So another thing I wanted to ask you is, once we've walked on a journey for a long time, we look back and we wish we could have, done things differently. If you could go back in time to the beginning, right before you started your channel, what would you tell yourself that might help you make less mistakes and help you be more successful?
I mean, obviously, if I could go back in time and just tell my younger self all the stuff I know today, it would be easy. I would have 3 years of experience under my belt out of nowhere. But very easy to implement things. I would tell myself to buy a good microphone early and learn how to use Audacity properly for optimal sound quality. Audacity is a program, you can just Google it, and it has quite a few tools that you can use for optimizing your sound quality. And sound quality is really everything on YouTube. People will be very forgiving if your video quality is like, 720p and not even in full HD or whatever. But if the audio sounds off, or if the audio is not enjoyable to listen to, then they will click off in a split second, like a blink of an eye. So optimize your audio quality and do it early, because the videos you make early, I mean, in gaming, videos are oftentimes irrelevant very quickly because games have updates and stuff, but it depends on your niche really. But really, if your early videos have good audio quality, I mean, who knows? Maybe people stumble upon them in half a year and then they are like, oh, that's a good video. And then the algorithm notices and pushes it, so good audio quality. This is what I would tell myself definitely. Also, learn how to use the free software early. For example, Canva. I again, in the beginning, I threw just everything on the table, on the Canva, and looked and just went with it, right? So learn these basic design principles, learn about the rule of thirds, learn about white space, learn how to design good thumbnails. Speaking of thumbnails, also in terms of thumbnails, look what your competitors are doing, look what's working for them. No reason to reinvent the wheel. It's really all out there. You just need to look, okay, how are they doing it? Are they using text? Are they not using text? You can go from there. You need a starting point, and this is the best starting point you can get, realistically speaking. Also, obviously, in the beginning, I just thought, hey, if I just upload unedited gameplay videos and do it consistently, then success will come over time. It's just a numbers game. This is what I thought. But while this is true to some degree, because every video you upload is a learning experience for you, educate yourself about YouTube as early as you can. Look for the resources. They're all out there. For example, Adam's channel. It's a good resource. If you just found this video, if you don't know about his channel yet, you can click on the channel, check out his other videos. He will tell you how to optimize for YouTube search, stuff like that. You don't need to learn everything by yourself. Use the resources out there.